Well, it comes back to that conversation. So many people are afraid to have these conversations at work.
Yeah.
I had a personal story of mine, like when my dad passed away in
I'm sorry to hear.
2019. Like I've shared very openly, but thank you. But I was working with this manager, and she sat me down like 6 months after he passed away, and she was like, "Listen, I really care about you. I think you are going to be super successful. You're so smart. You just like aren't taking care of yourself. And I can see like the grief weighing on you, and I see how it's showing up in your work, and I really care about you. And I want you to stay here and do good work. But I'm worried if you don't go and take care of yourself, that you're never going to be able to like be the star that I think you can be." And she was like, "I need you to go take care of yourself." And she like basically encouraged me to go to therapy, which I went to for the first time in my life a week later.
Nice.
And within 6 months to a year, I was being promoted.
That's awesome.
And had she not sat me down and looked at me and been like, "This is going to be a hard conversation. You are not performing like the way I know you can. You're dealing with something so personal, so tough. So I need to help you take care of yourself so that you can come to work and like be great, because I think you can be." But like, I think of like, if she had wussed out and not had that conversation, she probably would have fired me.
Yeah. I mean,
and I would have never thought she believed in me,
That's the definition of a good leader, right? A good leader is not someone that gives up and just says, "All right, let's, call HR and get rid of the person," right? Because that's also sometimes what happens. It's really caring and helping understand why the individual is in that situation. And it doesn't always work, right? You could try the why, you could try, like thankfully in your situation, you took her up, you recognized what she was saying from a place of trust, and then you took it upon yourself to take action on that. That doesn't always happen, right? So it's easier said that it'll always work. So you have to give it a shot, is my point, because if leaders cannot help individuals grow when times are not all going to the moon and rocket ship, like that's not even the definition of leadership. Leadership to me is when you are in the tough times, you are helping, no matter what the situation is, helping people get through it, helping organizations get through work. And I think sometimes people are just, they want the easy route. And it's, I guess we can also like, sometimes a lot of it is egos, right? Like if you're talking about executives, founders, whatever the case may be, they don't want to show that they have that empathy. They want to be empathetic. This is the irony, right? Everyone wants to be empathetic and care, but they don't want to be vulnerable. And sometimes you can't do one without the other. Like you have to, in your situation, like or any situation, like you have to be vulnerable to hear what they're saying, share your own personal story if it's relevant at that point, so that the person can actually connect and take action. But they want to be macho, right? They want to be, I'm the leader that has had no hardships in my life, and I'm an Iron Man or Iron Woman. And it all comes down to the definition of leadership, good leadership. And part of that is having a candid and honest communication channel.
Yeah. And also being empathetic and vulnerable. Like we throw around the word empathy so much. We're like, everyone should have empathy and empathy. And like, I have a lot of empathy for people. Okay. Even I'm a victim of saying I have a lot of empathy for people.
We all are. Yeah.
But like, but leaders, I think like leaders, especially if you are a leader and you're thinking about yourself first and not your team, I think you shouldn't be a leader. No. There's so many people that become managers and leaders for the wrong reason. Or like a lot of these first time founders were just people with really good ideas that like maybe didn't realize like, I now have to take this idea and also be this great leader that brings this idea into fruition. And no one who's teaching that course?
No one's teaching it. It's also, I think it's so personal, right? So, I've been thankful to have strong, good leaders who've put me in check, similar to your example on either like, you're getting way over your head and you're not going to be successful, like pull it back, or even on the professional front, refocus, figure those out. That I've grown to be a leader that wants to do the same thing for my team, because in a way it's giving back. In a way it's like, if I didn't get those checkpoints, I would have probably been off the rails. So it's so personal because, or it's so also exponentially from a network effect standpoint, that a good leader, if you are a good leader and you are just a good human being, forget leader, like having conversation, like connecting with people, it can give back in so many indirect ways through the people you coach and give back.
So many.
That like it's just yeah. I guess I just wanted to say that because it has a lasting impact. I know it's had it on me. It's probably had it on you and the people we've
Definitely
worked with. I'm sure we do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear from so many people. Like I still talk to people I've hired and I've kept in touch with them for so long. And it's just been interesting. They still come to me for things and they're like, what do you think about this? And what should I do here? And it's funny because my friends are like, isn't that exhausting? Like you always have all these people reaching out to you. And I'm like, I cared about them and they saw me as a leader. And like the fact that they trusted me with that responsibility and still to this day trust me, it's like an honor to me. I'm like, yeah.
It feeds both ways, right?